Good afternoon, Kitchissippi. It is Saturday, September the 21st. This is a video version of the 405th weekly Kitchissippi Ward newsletter. My usual reminder that there's lots more information about the topics we'll discuss, links to documents and information in the weekly email newsletter, to which you can subscribe at kitchissippiward.ca. Late this summer, OC Transpo reduced the frequency of the LRT during weekdays off-peak from every 5 minutes to every 10 minutes. And I had made a commitment to residents that I would try to reverse that. Well, this week at Council, my motion to restore those frequency failed by the narrowest of margins. So the frequency of the LRT during the weekday off-peak will remain at 10 minutes. However, I am confident that OC Transpo, if it starts to see capacity issues, will start to add more trains into the system. If you see that trains are constantly full when they arrive every 10 minutes, please let me know. During our debate, I was disappointed that we were talking about frequency versus capacity. The capacity of the system is one thing. Frequency is part of running a convenient transit system that is a first choice for people to move around the city rather than a last choice. So I am disappointed. Into the regular newsletter items, I do have pop-up office hours coming up on September the 26th. Those are going to be from 1 until 4 p.m. at the Second Cup that is at the corner of Holland and Wellington. Pop-up office hours are a chance to come by, chat with me one-on-one without appointment anytime during those hours about whatever is on your mind. Last week, I made note that the new plans for 335 Roosevelt, which is the uniform development, were going to be online. At the time I was writing, those plans were not yet online. They are now. In a nutshell, the city is taking a piece of that property in order to turn it into a park. The density that uniform is losing is going to be added to one of the towers by making the two towers roughly the same height. You can see the plans with an opportunity to comment online. I am certainly very open-minded to what is being proposed here, especially if it results in another new park for Kitchissippi Ward. There is a really interesting item in the newsletter which I think many of you will want to follow with respect to a proposal that's being made by city staff under the authority that came to us under Bill 109 from the province to delegate the approval of minor rezonings to our city staff. I know I've been chatting for a few weeks with city staff about some of the red flags I see around that. Alice in my office has thrown them a few scenarios to see whether they would fall under this new delegated authority for minor zoning approvals. There is a proposal that is now online outlining exactly what the circumstances are under which there could be a delegated decision on a minor rezoning. I'm very open-minded to it. Part of our commitment to the federal government in return for their $178 million in housing affordability funds was to streamline our process. I think this would go a long way to demonstrating our commitment to that. There's a link in the newsletter to the full and exact proposal. There are in-person workshops that are coming up to take a look at the new comprehensive zoning bylaw. The nearest one to us is going to be on October the 22nd at City Hall. Those will start at 6:30 p.m. There's a number of other locations around the city in case you can't make that one, but an opportunity to go in and see what is being proposed with respect to the comprehensive zoning that we are in the midst of developing to bring our zoning up to date with what is in the new official plan. The Committee of Adjustment on October 2nd, I know I ran through this last week, at 497 Roosevelt. The owners are seeking variances associated with the construction of a two-story detached dwelling. There's some variances they're looking for on the side yard and such. At 265 Churchill and 325 Bloomfield, there's a multi-unit, multi-building proposal as infill that has been proposed. It's there's are seeking a number of variances and conveyances. Full information is in the newsletter. My understanding is that residents of Westboro Beach will be meeting with the developer to take a closer look at that sometime in the near future. At 633 Edison's, the owners are seeking to sever the lot, construct a detached and a semi-detached dwelling. And at 130 Kenilworth, the owner is seeking to subdivide to create separate lots. That triggers a requirement for a variance. The side yard parking will become front yard parking that's already in existence on the property, so there is a variance application to go through for that. So a relatively brief list of City Hall items for the time being. A few of the community events that are coming up. The Westboro Legion Trivia Night is on October the 1st. You can register your team of up to 6 players. They have to be 19 years old plus for $15 a player to compete for an opportunity to win a donation by the Legion to a charity of your choice of up to $750 for the first prize. So that's a very generous donation to be making to some lucky charity here in the area. Kitchissippi United is hosting a rummage sale that's coming up on October the 18th and 19th. There on Island Park Drive, just sort of tucked in next to the Queensway. The Parkdale Right to Food event is coming up. That's going to consist of dining, family-friendly entertainment, shows, much more. That is going to be on Saturday, October the 5th at the Minowisni Food Center that is at 5 Hamilton Avenue. I believe that's going to spill over into Parkdale Park as well. The Hintonburg Community Association has its annual general meeting coming up. That's going to be on September the 26th. The following night, the Westboro Community Association has its annual general meeting. The Hintonburg one will be held as usual at the Hintonburg Community Center. The Westboro one will be held as usual at the Churchill Senior Center. I don't know if this video is going out on time, but tomorrow the McKellar Park Community Association is hosting its fall fair. That will be in McKellar Park from 10:30 until 2:30 p.m. So if this goes out in time, or hopefully you've already seen posters all over the neighborhood, get out and enjoy the McKellar Park Fall Fair. Another note that there is a critical mass ride, so that's one of these critical mass bike rides with kids as the focus. That's going to be held on September the 28th in Mechanicsville at La Roche Park. Meet at 9:30 to start decorating the bikes, dance, chalk, all kinds of activities. They begin the ride by 10:05 and they will return to La Roche Park at 11. Really great way to demonstrate your support and commitment for safe cycling infrastructure, particularly for kids. At City Hall, the legislative meetings just keep coming. We are going to meet on September the 24th, the Community Services Committee, or they're going to meet. The agenda includes items related to the long-term person-centered care, the incorporation of Crime Prevention Ottawa into the Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan, the Community Partnership Capital Grant Program, annual report, and more. I've got a link to their agenda where you'll find all the documents in the newsletter. We've got a very brief, or I think it will be a very brief meeting on Wednesday, September the 25th of the Planning and Housing Committee. Just the one substantive item, a relatively uncontentious approval on Provence Road in Catherine Kitz's ward. There is also, we'll receive an update, what they call the annual development pipeline report, which indicates how many homes are in development. That's on the agenda to be received, but not necessarily discussed. That report demonstrates what is in my own tracking of the CMHC numbers, which is a very slow year thus far for construction starts and completions. Interest rates are falling, and the message that I'm giving to the builders is it is time to start building. City Council has given very permissive zoning permissions to builders in response to requests that they have made for several years now, and those projects have not moved ahead. We are in a housing crisis. It's time for builders to build. At the Transportation Committee, they meet on September the 26th. That will largely be given over to one item, which is a presentation being given by the feds on the South Block project. So taking a look at the South Block of the parliamentary precinct, I know that there are going to be lots of questions around the future of Wellington Street through there, so that will probably be interesting to tune into. The Finance and Corporate Services Committee is going to meet on October the 1st. It's got a fairly beefy agenda. There is going to be the writing off of uncollectible property taxes, the proposed revenue split between the wards that immediately surround the, let me get this right, West Carleton Environmental Center and citywide funds. That center is actually a privately run landfill run by Waste Management. They pay a called levy to the city for operating that landfill within our bounds. Those revenues are split mostly to the wards that are most affected, but some of that does come into city coffers as well. There is a land exchange between the Barrhaven Conservancy and the city that is being proposed. The Spark Street BIA has proposed a boundary expansion. There will also be, I know a lot of us are looking forward to this, an update on the Affordable Housing Community Improvement Plan. That seems to have been well received by the sector and by the industry, and we hope that it is going to be spurring a significant amount of new affordable housing. So all of those items on that very beefy agenda available at the link to which I've pointed in the newsletter. Kitchissippi, I'm in front of the Metropole, where in a few minutes I'm going to deliver some congratulatory remarks. They are celebrating their 20th anniversary this year. That building has certainly become an iconic part of the Westboro skyline, part of the Ottawa skyline. You see it when you come over the hill from Canada, and so it's my pleasure to wish them congratulations on their 20th anniversary. Kitchissippi, I hope you have a great week, and thank you for watching.